All right, good evening. Hopefully everything is going right. Oh, I just saw a transition behind me. So hopefully that's going well. Let me take a look. Oh, yep. All right, we are live yet again. We are continuing to work on our dreadnought. If you're watching me vertically on TikTok, you'll see a little thing on the camera right here. There we go, right there, maybe. Yes, right there. Watch full screen. And if you're watching me full screen on TikTok, you'll see a little scrolling banner across the bottom of the screen that says, there is a link to my Discord on Twitch. So if you go over to Twitch, there should be a permanent link to my Discord chat server, and you can come share your works in progress, some of your completed stuff, whatever you want over there. Follow me on Twitch while you're there. You can watch on TikTok, you can watch on Twitch, you can watch on YouTube, wherever you want to. But that's where we're at. We're going to get back to work on this dreadnought. As you can see, we've got this part of the legs pretty well done. We will continue moving on to these armor pieces that cover like the shin and knee area right above the foot. We got our base coats on there. They're ready to go. Might add some decals to those as we make some progress. We're going to start doing our edge highlighting around the armor panels. Let me see. I need one of my brushes. Which brush am I going to use for this? Not that. There we go. This one's a little bit of a wider tip, and I went and cleaned my water cup for painting and forgot to refill it. So as the missus and I half finish water bottles around the house, they collect here and there and everywhere. So we take our partially finished water bottles and they turn into my paintbrush water. So let me just pour some of that in there. And we will get to painting. Alright, so as usual, our first round of edge highlighting that we do, I use the Dark Reaper. It's kind of a bluish gray paint. I still have some here on my wet palette from our last painting session, so we'll just revive that a little bit with some water. Get it loaded up on our brush here. And I seem to be missing my paper towels. I always have paper towels available when painting. And if you don't have a paper towel available, napkins work well as just as well. So like I said, make sure we've got some thin down paint here. And of course we'll take a little bit of the excess off the brush. Thin your paints. You must thin your paints when painting minis. Hello everyone that is hopping in. Welcome to the stream. But yeah, we're just gonna try and catch that front edge of the plate. I'm gonna have to get some more paint out, but that's just how it goes. We'll do a little bit here and then we'll grab some more paint out of the pot. I said we're doing our first edge highlight with Dark Reaper, which is a Citadel color. See Dark Reaper there. I mostly use Citadel paints. I've tried a few armor painters. I have some Vallejo paints. I just don't use them as often. But I have tried a variety of paints, but out of all the brands, they're all good. You know, Vallejo, Army Painter, Citadel, they're all good paints. And it just comes down to preference of color. Whatever color you decide you want to try and use, if your paint manufacturer has the color you need, just use their paint. Like I said, Citadel, Vallejo, Army Painter, they're all good. I've just gotten so used to Citadel. I mean, I do like some of the Army Painters just because of the dropper bottles and using the wet palette. I can just drop some onto my palette, thin it out a little bit, and I'm ready to go. But yeah, we're just, you know, catching that very outside edge. We're going a little bit thicker with the Dark Reaper on the edge highlights, because we're going to come back and hit them again with some lighter grays, just to bring out the edges of those armor plates little by little. Brighten them up so they're easier to see when your mini is on the tabletop or on display, wherever you have it displayed. And edge highlighting is one of those things, this is the most time consuming part of painting minis, as you just have to be very careful, very precise, and there's so many edges on minis, especially when you're doing like armor plates like this. But everywhere there's a hard edge, you just kind of follow the edge of the armor plate and just kind of using the side of your brush. You don't have to use the tip unless you're in like confined areas. And just using the side of your brush, make your way around all the edges of the armor plate. Inside, outside, top, edges, corners, all of it. Just work your way around. And eventually, it will all come together and make sense. Like I said, just like while you're doing this, just be very careful. You're only getting the paint exactly where you want it. Thank you for the likes, McCrag Miniatures. I appreciate it. Likes for the Emperor. And those loyal to him. And along the front edge here, I have to use the tip of the brush. Try not to get any on that white knee pad. Because we don't want to paint that. We've already painted it the color we want. I'm gonna have to put on my old man glasses for some of this. Because I'm old and I can't see anymore. Let's set down the brush momentarily. And again, those of you watching on TikTok, you can go either vertical or full screen. The vertical view says to watch full screen, and if you're watching full screen, you'll see scrolling across the bottom, there is a link to my Discord server where folks can share, some finished minis that they're proud of, whatever projects they're currently working on. I've got channels set up on Discord for folks to come in and share those. I need to figure out how to do a link tree on TikTok. I haven't figured out how to do that yet. I'm still very much a noob on all this stuff. But as I get that figured out, I will add more links to my TikTok to make it easier to navigate. So if you don't feel like leaving the platform, you don't have to. But that's kind of our first round of edge highlighting on this kind of ankle guard, knee guard, shin guard, whatever you want to call it, for the Dreadnought. And we will move to the other one and replicate those results. So just a little bit of paint using the edge of your brush. Just work your way around all the edges of the armor plate. On the top of the knee pad, I do inside and outside. On the bottom, pretty much just do the outside, because you're not really gonna see. I mean, you can just kind of spin it around real quick and catch this edge as well. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Of course, I say that, and this is the first Dreadnought I've ever done. It's been an interesting experience, I will say that. Some moments of frustration, but overall, it's been fun. Yeah, just all those kind of raised edges. Just getting a little bit of that Dark Reaper on there. And again, thank you, McCrag, for the continued likes on tonight's stream. The interaction is always appreciated to entice more viewers to pop in. And as people pop in, hopefully they go from vertical to full screen, and then maybe someone will check me out over on Twitch and join the Discord. I haven't done it yet, but I am making plans as folks join the Discord and share things that they're working on. What did I use for the base? So the base is mostly it's mostly the AK texture. Let's see. So AK natural texture for rough terrain. And then there are like the larger rock sections are pieces of cork that I cut out and kind of chip the edges away. Just flat cork sheeting. And from there, I used Gothor Brown as a base color. Then covered it with Agrax Earthshade to get some darker tones in there, and then dry brushed the whole base with Steel Legion Drab, and that's how I got that rocky looking dirty texture. But that's my recipe for how I do the bases. This stuff is awesome. It was my first time trying cork on the base as well, so I'm very happy with how it turned out. Like I said, we're just gonna continue with our edge highlighting. And obviously I use like old pill bottles with some sticky tack on them to hold the parts of the Mini that I'm working on currently. I do have, for like the standard units, the Space Marines, my Black Templars, I do have bases, you know, unit bases to hold them, and so that's what they end up looking like when I'm done. Same process on these bases, I just don't use any cork. And then some flocking and some little tufts, which will be added to this in time. Just I'd need to get the Mini painted first and then clear coated so my paint doesn't come off of it, because I spend way too much time painting these things to, you know, pick them up and have the paint rub off of them. So clear coat your Minis when you finish painting them. Otherwise, the oils in your hand will strip the paint off of them. It's very frustrating, because then you have to go back in and do tons of touch-ups all the time. And I prefer to get them on the table and, you know, have little make-believe wars with them, which I have not done with my Black Templars yet. But it is planned in the future as I finish these Minis, and have a long way to go. Basically, all I've gotten done so far is the Impulsor from the Combat Patrol and my Crusader Squad. So, I have quite a few left to go. All right. I'm sorry if I get quiet every once in a while. It just means I'm super focused on not messing up my paint, because sometimes these, you know, catching these lines just right is a little complex for me. And if I'm quiet, I can concentrate better. Especially going right across the front of this one, underneath the knee pad. Especially when it moves while you're trying to paint it with the sticky tack. I know some folks are, when I paint my Minis, they end up looking very clean. I don't do a lot of dirt and grunge and whatnot on the Mini itself. So some people are like, oh, your Minis are too clean. I'm like, I don't care. I like the way they look. And that's all I can ask for. Wow, up to 2.4 thousand likes already. Is your thumb getting tired from tapping on the screen there, McCrag? Yeah, and I know a lot of people like the weathered look. I've tried to do it on my Impulsor and was not happy with the results. Like the kind of brushed metal look, I can get done real well and have it look good, but trying to like weather the Mini and have that look nice just doesn't always work out for me. But I do appreciate all the likes, you know, helps attract more people to come in and watch what's going on, because I know TikTok flags it as a popular live. And any help getting more eyeballs in here is always appreciated. Alright, so that was our first round of edge highlighting. Now, for second round, we're going to do Dawnstone, and we'll get a little bit finer on the line that we do. So we're trying to keep some of the Dark Reaper visible, and then bring out the Dawnstone, and then the last step that I do on my edge highlighting is I'll use a little bit of Administratum Gray here and there, like on like the super hard edges, like where I think the light would be hitting it the most, to brighten it up just a little bit more. And this is following a paint scheme that Duncan Rhodes did a YouTube video years ago on how to paint Black Templars. I liked the way it looked, and for the most part copied it and did a couple of my own things here and there, but have been very satisfied with the results. What are my thoughts on Blood Ravens? Isn't that the faction that steals everybody's relics? They're just collectors. They like stuff. I need to spend more time getting into more of the lore. I just think the minis look cool, and I enjoy painting them. And I enjoy the Space Marine 2 video game. It's way too much fun. But I do need to spend some more time going through the lore and learning all the... just found them laying around. Yeah, that reminds me of like a saying that we had when I was in the Marine Corps. Gear adrift is a gift. I heard a noise somewhere. Oh, Mad Max, thank you for the follow. Sometimes the notifications, I don't know what all the noises are yet. So I get a little confused and have to look around the screen. But thank you for the follow. It's very much appreciated. But yeah, we, like, anybody left anything lying around while you're in the Marines, you know, gear adrift is a gift. So always make sure you know where your stuff is. No problem. Love Warhammer. Started playing in the 90s. I played during 5th edition in the early 2000s. I want to say like 2006, 2007 time frame, maybe. No, it had been closer to 8 or 9. I don't remember when 5th edition was popular. But as a broke college student, getting into it, I found at the time the cheapest army to get into and the cheapest thing to paint was Necrons. So I have a few old 5th edition Necrons that are kind of collecting dust. And every time I go live, I say that, and I'm like, oh, I need to get some pictures up. Need to get some new pictures of them and get pictures up on TikTok and the Discord and everything. And if you're watching live, I have my Twitch channel scrolling across the bottom of the screen in full screen. So if you follow me on, if you go over to Twitch, you know, same username and everything, I do have a permanent Discord link. So if you have minis you want to share, or something that you're working on, something that you're super proud of, I've got channels set up over there so people can share what they're working on. And as this TikTok, Twitch, YouTube journey continues, I'm hoping to, occasionally do like some work in progress showcases from viewers on Twitch and YouTube and TikTok. So if you want to go check that out, it is available to anyone who wants to join. Oops. That line didn't come out super clean, but it's fine. Anyway, can't take the music anymore. Painting is looking great, man. Do it for Chesty. Yeah, it's hard to find good music to stream to that's not copyrighted. I know I don't have to worry about that as much on TikTok, but because I am live on Twitch and YouTube, I have to keep it copyright free. I am playing around with the idea of AI generated music and just have a computer make some music for me to use while streaming. But that's another subscription to another service that I really can't afford right now. So I apologize if the music isn't for everyone. I suppose I could switch over to some synthwave. I guess that's a little bit easier for some folks to listen to. Let me see if I can find it. There we go. There we go. Change up the music a little bit. Do some synthwave instead of hype tracks. But all that's Stream Beats by Harris Heller. He's a big YouTube. Warhammer soundtrack. See, I don't know what's copyrighted and what's not. So I tend to stick to stuff that I know the creator has said, please use this music for whatever you're doing. So that's what I do. Because I know I won't get in trouble on other platforms for using it. Just like Monday nights, I have a group of friends that we stream our Dungeons and Dragons sessions. And there's a composer, Michael Gelfie or something like that. I'm sorry if I mispronounce his name. But all of his music is, he allows use for D&D streams. So that is what I use on Monday nights while streaming Dungeons and Dragons. Trying to keep this guy in frame where everybody can see what I'm doing. And the glasses make it a little bit harder to read the chat, but I'm doing my best to be able to look over the top of the frames and see what folks are saying. But yeah, for music on streams, it's always better safe than sorry. Don't want a whole, because I leave the VODs up on Twitch, and of course everything stays on YouTube, so I don't want entire streaming sessions getting muted because of copyright stuff. So, like I said, I lean towards better safe than sorry. Like, I suppose I could listen to like Baldermort's lore videos. I'm sure he would appreciate that, but at the same time, that's somebody else's created material. But if you are looking for lore videos, Baltimort on YouTube, amazing voice for narrating 40k. Highly recommend. And they say, you know, oh, just be very careful you're not completely covering up the Dark Reaper on these edge highlights, and in several places I've done just that. So, you know, do as I say, not as I do. But this is how I spend my hobby time. Eventually I'll get these guys on the tabletop once they're all painted up. Must be very careful I don't leave this brush in the water, because this is one of my nice ones. Ball cancer, that's an interesting name. Not how I'd like to spend my evenings, but whatever floats your boat, my dude. But there we go, got some edge highlighting done on these. Vertical, I'm sorry. I don't have as much screen space to show off stuff. Alright. So there's 2 more pieces, pretty well done. Just need to remember which one goes on which leg. I think that's the one that lines up for that. And as I say, oh yeah, I'm almost done, I'm like, oh, there's all sorts of little rivets that I need to paint. So we will thank you for the follow, McCrag. Much appreciated. We'll swap brushes yet again, because you should use different brushes for different paints for different reasons. Otherwise you ruin them. So for all of our little rivets and stuff, I use Stormhost Silver. That is probably the hardest one to read on camera. Make sure you got some water in your brush to help the paint flow. And because I'm just doing little dots here and there, I usually paint straight out of the bottle, or the pot, whatever you want to call it. As I just keep knocking over what I'm working on. But get you just a little blob of paint. I have to put the old man glasses back on to see what I'm doing, because I wear them for like 5 minutes and then I try and paint something without them and I go cross-eyed. Oh, the joys of getting older. But yeah, just little dots of paint right where those rivets are. Oh yeah, that is very frustrating with the Citadel paint pots. That's pretty... Aside from the quality of the paint, that is the only complaint I really have about the Citadel paints, is the container it comes in. I mean, Citadel, put all your stuff in these. I know they're doing it to some of their paints, but they need to hurry up and do it to all of their paints. It's so much easier to like get a couple of drops out on your wet palette, if you use a wet palette, with the dropper style bottles. as I have a couple of different methods of how I get it out of the paint pot onto the wet palette. Sometimes I'll use the back of the brush. I'll see you, man. Hope your live goes well along with your dreadnought. Thank you, McCrag. Appreciate you stopping in and chatting. We'll probably be live for a couple of hours, so if you have a chance to stop back in, I hope to see you. And remember, there is the Discord link available on my Twitch page, so if you want to go check that out, drop what you've been working on in the Discord, and one of these days I'll get around to doing a live stream where we go through everybody's projects that they're working on. It is a plan. I just haven't gotten all the logistics of that worked out yet. But again, thank you for stopping by and talking for a little while. We'll see you next time. Okay, and before I move on to the next thing, where did my transfers go? Because I'm going to do Already Looking Sick, brother. Keep it up. Thank you so much, Jack Lost. Focusing very hard on making this thing look cool. And right in front of my face, taking my time on painting these things, and having a ton of fun painting them. But we're gonna do a couple of transfers onto the knee pads because I can't freehand anything. I'm awful at it at this point. As I continue painting into the future, maybe I'll get better. I have to look around my desk and find everything I need for this. So let's see, do we just do the solid black one, or do we do the one with the little red spikes? Because I think there's going to be a lot of black and red on this guy, or a lot of black and white, not very much red. I think I'm going to do the one with the spikes, little red spikes on it, just for some extra flavor. I don't need the ones with the skulls on it. Maybe the next red nut I do, because I know I'm going to have another one. But yeah, let's take a moment and get these two cut out. This is how I do transfers. There are many different methods to do transfers. This one just works for me. So, get our transfers out and ready to go. And some people will probably scream at me for the way I do this, but hey, it's how it works for me, so I'm going to continue to do it this way. So I take the transfer that I'm going to be doing. I get a brush ready with a little bit of water on it, and then I take my transfer and my tweezers and I just soak it in my paint water. Soak in my paint water for a little while, till the paper backing on it gets nice and saturated. Then get the piece that I'm going to put it on and start kind of poking around the edges of it, hoping that it will soon come loose and start to slide. There we go, we got a little bit of movement out of it. And we will take it and very carefully slide it on there. And before it has a chance to dry up, try and center it a little bit, straighten it out, Knock it crooked 57 times. And then just kind of use some water and brush it down flat. I know other people, say, well, use this special thing here, use that special thing there. And it sticks with water. And then when you clear coat it, it's under your clear coat. It's on there permanently. So there's one. But that is how I do transfers. That's how I've always done them. Because that's what works for me. Looks nice and straight up and down and centered. And we just repeat the process with our next one. Into the paint water. Hold it there. Let it soak it up. Move our next piece. Getting it ready to go. I said, once you've soaked it for a minute, just kind of poke the edges of it. See, this one is lifting off. Not sliding. Oh, there we go. That got a little slide on it. And again, we just slide it onto the mini where approximately where we want it. Make little pushing adjustments with the brush. While it's still wet before it dries. This one's fighting me a little bit. Get it next to the other one. Try and line them up. And I think that's got it. And then you just kind of brush water over the top of it to smooth it out. And there we go. We've got our transfers onto our mini. Hey, great stream. I'm looking through. Add me on Discord. ME50. I mean, there should be a link to my Discord on my Twitch page, so if you want to join the Discord, it's already there. All right, so let those dry a little bit. So we have to figure out which one goes on which leg real quick. Because they do not fit exactly the same leg to leg, I don't think. So I'll try back and forth a couple times. Yeah, I think this one, yeah, maybe. Yeah, that looks good. So on your painted minis, like if you've already got some paint on it, your plastic cement won't work anymore unless you like rough up the plastic and then it does wonky stuff. So I will be using some Gorilla Glue Super Glue to attach these. And there are little points in the model in hidden places that will allow you to put a decent glob of glue in there. A glob of glue. And that will be hidden under there, so even if it does spread out a little bit, it's hidden behind that panel, so you won't be able to see it. And we will let that dry up and cure on there. And so we've got our first knee pad attached. And do a quick test fit on the second. Looks like that'll go on there nicely. And again, get our brush of super glue on here. Get a nice little glob under there. Try not to get stringy with it. And just do like a little pinch right there. And there we go. We've got our first layer of armor plating going up the legs. So definitely taking more shape, definitely looking more Black Templar. Never mind the blueberry in the bottom corner. Because we do Templars here because they have cool minis. All right. Yeah, we hate them blueberries. Yes, we do, huh? Yes, we do. And they will always be blueberries in my book. Them and their stupid rule book. We don't like that either. Okay. So we don't have an accident. We will close our glue up. So if you're watching on TikTok, if you're watching vertical, switch to full screen to get a better view of what's going on the desk. Also, scrolling across the bottom of the screen in full screen, my Twitch channel is displayed at the bottom, and there's a permanent Discord link in my Twitch. Thank you for the follow, Lamar Jack on Twitch. See, some people go over there and give me a follow. I do appreciate it over there. I technically have enough followers on Twitch for the affiliate program. I just don't have enough viewers over there yet. But I'm sure it'll happen in time. I'm not overly concerned about it. This is my hobby. This is what I do for fun. I'm glad I can share it with you, because when something starts looking this cool, I'm like, yeah. Same name? Yep. Dune_Gunner. It's, that's the screen name that I've used for, oh my God, over 20 years now. I've used that screen name. I made the screen name, user handle, whatever you want to call it, after getting back from deployment to Kuwait and Iraq in 2003 during Operation Enduring Freedom. Thank you, Cellar Door 2, for the follow on Twitch. Very much appreciated. And if you, like I said, if you are on Twitch, there on the About Me page, there is a link to a Discord. Cellar door 2 is huh? I thought that might be the case. I appreciate you following me on Twitch as well as TikTok. But see, this is where all the best views and stuff happens. Because I do channel transitions and all that kind of stuff. Sleepy Raccoon, thank you for the rose. Very much appreciated. I don't know what that does, but I appreciate the rose. The TikTok stuff is confusing to me. It's like, oh, have a rose, have a smiley face. Like, anytime somebody sends one, I say thank you. I appreciate it. It took me, I don't know how many months I've been streaming on TikTok to figure out that there's this special little window up here that tells me what gifts people have sent me. Never noticed it until a couple streams ago. I felt really stupid. So people had been sending me stuff and I always missed it. But that's just the way it goes. Give me 1 second. I'm going to grab a drink real quick because I keep talking and my mouth gets dry. Advantage of having adult money is I get to spend it on stupid stuff like a glass front mini fridge sitting behind me that I keep, you know, old people zero sugar Mountain Dew in. Where'd you get put at in Kuwait? I was at Camp Fox for a little while, and then Camp Coyote, I think, is where we spent most of our time. I was attached to a military police battalion because they were short people when they were getting ready to deploy, and I ended up being a green MP for about 6 months in Kuwait and Iraq. We were doing MSR patrols, convoy security type things, mostly in Safwan. We had a couple of convoys that went up farther. Aliyah Salim, I'm pretty sure. See, I have pictures above my desk. Is it Air Force Base? I'm pretty sure. I don't know how well you'll be able to see. Oh, here. I have a huge overhead camera. I'm pretty sure that's where this tank was. That we have pictures of us on as the Aliyah Salim Air Base that we took like day 3 after we crossed the border. But yes, I'm pretty sure we were at Aliyah Salim for a couple of convoys running up there taking supplies. But been there, done that, got the t-shirt, got the disability rating. Made a lot of good friends in the Marines. One of the guys in those pictures, like 20 years later, I gave him a phone call. Hey, will you be my best man at my wedding? And he showed up, no questions asked. So, you know, as much that happened, there, you know, you met a lot of good people while you're in. I'm gonna set these legs off to the side. Everybody keeps telling me go get a rating. Like, if you have something that warrants a rating, I would say go ahead and go get it. Like, if you have hearing loss, like, I was an MP while I was deployed. The rest of the time, I was a heavy equipment mechanic. I spent a lot of time with my head in a diesel engine bay and, you know, just listening for sounds. So I've got tinnitus, some hearing loss, and unfortunately for me, I also jacked up my shoulder. Got more PTSD from blueberries on Space Marines? Yeah. Or, those folks that have their, you know, custom chapters. the the Skittles Marines that show up in Space Marine 2. Like, oh my god, what is that? But to each their own. It's a game, it's for fun. Just play it how you want to play it. But yeah, there are some interesting things. Dude looked like a box of crayons the other day. Yep. Bet he looked delicious. Oh. Marine humor, box of crayons. I mean, he was a full-on snack. Sorry, can't help it. Military humor and dad jokes. That is what I am the best at. Alright, you move out of my way so I can keep this in camera while I, smear paint on it. Yeah, just back to the Abaddon Black for our base coat. Just smear it on there. Like, this is the underside of the armor piece, so it doesn't have to be super fancy. Oh, TikTok, why do you think I go AFK? So annoying. Sorry. People like the Optimus Prime paint too. Yeah. There are some folks that come up with creative color schemes. I will give them that. I'm not, going to be the person that jumps on them and say, well, actually, that's not lore accurate. It's like, who cares, dude? Just play the game. Enjoy it. Have fun. And most of the time, like I say, it's one of my favorite lines I've ever heard. It's a joke, dude, not a dick. You don't have to take it so hard. Plus, I get kicked for my playstyle too. I mean, depending on what class you are, if you're playing your class correctly, there are some playstyles that are not conducive to making friends. Like me on my Vanguard. I rush in there, all the time, ziplining into stuff, getting in much deeper trouble than what I'm able to handle myself, and die a lot. It happens. It's part of the game. I'm playing my character right. But at the end of the day, it's a game. Get over it. Play it how you want to play it. If people don't like how you play, they'll find somebody else that will hold their hand and make their fifis feel good. I'm sure my team gets super irritated with me when I'm playing Call of Duty, and just rushing in constantly, because that's what I do, just feeding the other team kills, so I can get my own kills. Run to the next checkpoint, then work my way back because I got tired of eating grenades. Well, yeah, I mean, sometimes it's your teammates that are causing the headache, because like if you're playing Bulwark or something, you're up in there and your back line is just lobbing grenades, staggering you constantly. That gets annoying. So yeah, rush up to the next checkpoint and then work your way back and clear stuff for them so they can meet you over there. I mean, honestly, it sounds like they're, worse at playing the game than you are if all you're doing is getting staggered constantly, because, like I said, if you're a Bulwark, you're front line, you're supposed to be up there. And hey, I need some armor. Stop killing the staggered one next to me. Yeah. It's like you're trying to get an armor recharge and, the sniper takes it out. Or the tactical takes it out with their stupid noob tube. I know, I've seen it all. I've been there. Yep. Yes, you can. And that's every single video game. People do something in there, like their playstyle conflicts with your playstyle, and I mean, for the most part, like if you're like me, I'm just like, dude, play how you want. Just don't make it unbearable for me. Like people in COD who sit in corners, that's all they do. Like, there's more to the map than that one corner that you've spent the entire round in. Go check it out. The developers put a lot of hard work into creating these environments. Move. Charles Dempsey, thank you for the follow on TikTok. Definitely appreciate it. Uncle Ruckus, behave yourself. I know your reputation. And I am talking about the Boondocks one. I like the ones who play the game with the faces in the mud. If I find a camper and they're not on if I find a camper on my team, I will squat and jump and spin and all that kind of stuff in their face so they can't get a shot and hope that both of us get killed. Don't annoy me by not doing anything. And then if I find one on the other team, I will die 57 times to kill you once, mag dump into your corpse, and teabag you. I am 42 years old and I will still do that in video games. Nah, the ones that need a res. Oh, well, that's me. I'm the one that always needs a res. I fall over constantly because I missed my parry or my perfect dodge, and then I get swarmed. I feel attacked. It's all good. It's just a game. Grand Admiral Bill, welcome in. Martyrs Gallery, thanks for stopping by. How are you folks doing tonight? Yes, sir. Question, ask away. You aren't too bad to play with. I know. It had been a while since I'd played when you jumped in with me, and I was just coming back right after an update where things didn't work, so it was a little rough. I played with a couple of friends the other night, and I looked like the one that knew what was going on while they floundered. Felt good. Love video games. Especially Space Marine 2. It's so much fun. I cannot wait to see what the Horde mode does. I'm a creator, got some news, got some views, but not anymore. Don't quite get the views. Just keep doing it. I stream to like 1 or 2 people constantly. Just go live. Go live, make content, be silly. I'm gonna die on Horde mode. Yeah. Go live on multiple platforms. Just I've been on Twitch for a couple years now, and get like 2 views constantly. TikTok, I mean, it's been great for viewership, but it's like it doesn't really transfer into anything. I get some roses or some stars or whatever every now and then. It's cool, I appreciate it, but I don't know what it does. It's not like a creator program or an affiliate program like Twitch has. Supposedly I've made like 18 cents on TikTok or something like that. Woohoo. It's amazing. But yeah, just, don't get discouraged. Just keep doing it. If you enjoy streaming, just hit the go live button and do something that you enjoy doing. Even if nobody's watching, it gets you practice for, having conversations with, people that aren't there. I can't stream playing PS5. I'm pretty sure you can. My oldest, I think, has a direct to YouTube stream set up somehow, that he does on his PS5 with, what was he playing recently? Don't remember, but yeah, there's some way to do it. I don't know how, but I know it's possible. And if nobody wants to see my ball sticking to the ground, well, you don't have to have a camera. All they need to see is your gameplay. So if anybody's getting confused, I am live in multiple places. I'm on Twitch, TikTok, and YouTube at the same time. So sometimes I'll answer chat on Twitch. Sometimes I'll answer chat on TikTok. Nobody watches me on YouTube. It just saves the videos for me to show people later. Especially when you have super cruddy reception on your cell phone and you're trying to show somebody at work. For those of us that have an actual job, YouTube is the best for, showing your VODs off to your coworkers or your friends, no matter where you're at. Twitch's VOD playback is questionable at best on a good day. And TikTok doesn't save your VODs. At least, not that I've found a way to. I mean, you can save it onto your computer, but there's no way to go back and watch it on TikTok later unless you make clips of it. Which is kind of why I go live everywhere. Because that's what works for me. Okay. I think we've got a good base coat on both of those. No problem. I said, this is a hobby for me. I don't ever plan on going viral or blowing up. This is how I spend my free time a couple nights a week. Just sit down in my office, turn on my camera, paint some minis or play some video games. Jump on Twitch, jump on TikTok, send stuff over to YouTube. That's just what I do. And with the miniature painting, it's nice that at the end of the stream, I can take a bunch of little pictures of the minis I've been working on and share those, and so people can see the process from gray plastic being put together to a fully painted mini. Especially with this dreadnought, the way it's been going, how I've just been doing a little piece here, a little piece there at a time, and it becomes more complete as we go. And so, when somebody comes by my TikTok channel or my YouTube shorts, they can just flip back through the last one and see how the progress was made and what happened each week. Going to bed, homie. Good luck with the live. Thank you so much, Cellardor or depending on which platform you're watching on. Appreciate you stopping in. Hope to see you next time. Get some sleep. Wake up well rested and ready to kick the next day's ass. At least that's how I like to look at it. All right, and with our base coat done, we'll go back to some more edge highlighting. And this is actually pretty nice on the dreadnought because it's like, I do a piece and, go through all the stages of edge highlighting and, base color and whatnot. Which reminds me, I need to do, I guess it's all right. I need to go pick out a couple of spots for some Administratum Gray for some edge highlights on that, but we will deal with that later. Once we get the armor plates on and we can see everything a little bit better. I used to be a 40K fan. Yeah, I played, like I said, the early 2000s, maybe 2010s or so, when 5th edition was a thing. I don't remember exactly the dates for that. Started playing Necron Army, and then, you know, life happened and I had to put the hobby down for a little while. And then played the new PS5 game. I play it on Steam, on PC. The new Space Marine 2 game came out, and I was like, oh, I have got to get back into miniature painting. I've got to start a new army. And I looked around at the different options for minis, and saw the sculpts for the Black Templar models. I was like, yep, those guys. And then I find out, like, there's bad people. I'm like, everyone in the Imperium is a bad person. If you're not human, they want to kill you. No, it's not just the Templars. You know, they're not the bad guys from World War II. It's fantasy. Sure. People frustrate me. You should follow Adam Docs Paints. He does 40K. Is he on TikTok or YouTube or Twitch? Because I might already follow him. I follow a lot of mini painters on TikTok. And it's hard to keep track of all of them. Because apparently we're very prevalent on TikTok for painting minis, which is really cool. I get to see a lot of very well painted minis. Thank you for the likes. It's not showing me who's sending them, but thank you. Jack Pop-Tart, thank you for the likes. It finally decided to tell me who is clicking on their screen. I appreciate it. Oh. Yes, don't forget to like the live. It brings more people in. But yeah, there's a lot of mini painters out there that do just absolutely incredible work, and they share it on TikTok. So, you know, thank you, Grand Admiral Bill, for the 174 likes. They are always appreciated. Any likes to the live will always be appreciated. Yep, still painting Black Templars. I mean, I paint very slowly, so I'm still working on the Dreadnought that I've been working on for the last few weeks. I have a long ways to go to get to 2,000 points with these guys, so I will be painting Black Templars for a very long time. It will probably be like 12th edition before I ever get them on the table, because I'm so slow at painting. We'll have like 3 codex updates or something. Alright, Grand Admiral Bill, come back when you have time. No rush. I really need to figure out all the... ooh, my video kind of froze for a second there. Really need to figure out all the different, like... Yes, you did. Admiral Bill, thank you for the follow. Yes. I am working on a Black Templar army, and I will get it painted eventually. Might end up actually being retired before I get it finished. I just thought that when I played Space Marines 2, and I was like, oh, I've got to get back into painting minis. And I looked at the different options for the armies, like what their units look like, and saw the sculpts for the Templars. I'm like, yep, those guys. And like I was complaining about earlier, apparently after choosing Templars, people are like, you know, those guys are bad, right? Like, yes, they're all bad. The Imperium hates anything that's not human. It's not just the Templars. Templars are just very efficient at removing things that are not human. Thank you, thank you, thank you for the likes. I very much appreciate it. I mean, when I have a chance and I'm watching other TikTokers, you know, I always try and do several likes because, you know, especially when they're live, because it boosts their live stream, so more people can come in and see it, and so I always try and help other people out by liking their lives when I see them. I'll stay tuned in for a little while to give them some views, but likes are always very much appreciated. So thank you so much for all the likes on the stream. I think, wow, we're up to 4.6 thousand likes on tonight's stream. So keep them coming, keep more people coming in here, and we'll have more people to have conversations with and maybe share some funny stories and sit here and chit chat on the TikTok. If you're watching in vertical, you can see that it says to go full screen. If you're watching in full screen, I have my Twitch address linked below, and I have a Discord set up. Thank you, Omar. Think about do it. If you're playing Black Templars, or if you're doing a Black Templar army and you're looking for something thematic, I thought the Brutalis was a perfect choice. Just because the Templars, they run up and hit stuff with their chainswords. That's what they do. So what fits even better in that, you know, walk up and smack it? Brutalis Dreadnought. So that's why I'm working on this one. And the mini just looks super cool. After you're done painting Tyranids, going to paint Iron Hands. They're famous for dreadnoughts. Alright. Now, I hope you share your stuff on TikTok. Do I follow you? I probably do. And I hope you share your stuff on TikTok. If not, you should. Found an STL file of Noise Marines Dreadnought. Interesting. I've seen some really cool STL files for Black Templar Dreadnought accessories that I really want to get a set, because I mean, what says Black Templars more than a Brutalis Dreadnought holding a gigantic power sword? Like some of the STL things that I've seen online just look so cool. And I want them, and I want to get a resin printer so I can print them myself, but I don't have that yet. Yet being the operative word. It will happen someday. My dreams will come true. But yeah, there's some like really cool dreadnought accessories that you can print off that really make it thematic. My favorite character for the Templars is probably everybody else's. Well, I have two. One being Grimaldus, the hero of Hell's Reach, as if there was only one. And then, of course, Sigismund, the first Templar. And I think those are the correct answer to that question. Sigismund has some really cool lore. took one for the team just to spit in Abaddon's eye. Is, you know, just some really cool lore there. Thank you for the follow, Thickums. I very much appreciate it. So that's our first round of edge highlighting there. Jack Pop Tart, thank you for the follow. Much appreciated. And we will continue with our tedious edge highlighting, because that's what we do. It keeps me occupied for a couple of hours while I randomly lose my train of thought as I'm speaking into the ether. You know, one of these days I'll actually, you know, take sleep seriously and actually get some sleep. But there's plenty of time for that when I, you know, actually get really old. Just curl up in my rocking chair with my blanket across my lap, dozing on the porch, holding my dreadnought, rocking it gently. There's something wrong with me. But yes, edge highlighting. That is what we are doing. Any thoughts on the Emperor's Children refresh? I'm always happy that people get new models. That's about all I can say. I haven't really looked too closely into them. It's not an army I'm going to play. Although the mini of the month this month was what? Emperor's Children Tormentor? Yes. The mini of the month, if you were lucky enough or had to live near a Games Workshop, was an Emperor's Children Tormentor mini, which the missus and I every month, much to her annoyance, go get them. So I've got, you know, some Skaven clan rats, another Skaven model. We started last November collecting all the minis of the month as they were released. So I have things to do if I get to the point where it's like, okay, I need a break from the Templars for a while. I'm going to paint an Eldari Fire Dragon, or I want to paint a Kriegsman Engineer. I've got those minis. Also lets me try out different painting techniques and different color palettes instead of just doing, you know, black and gray and white and red on everything, because that's all you do with Templars is a lot of black and red and gray and white with little bits of silver here and there. But yeah, I was super upset when I, you know, had to quit playing during 5th edition, because I started playing Necrons right before they got their big model refresh, and things happened. I couldn't afford new minis, and so all I have is, you know, a ton of Necron warriors, some old tomb spiders, the original green rod and crystal monoliths. Not a lot of variety. Some destroyers, and then they got, you know, their range refresh and got so many cool new minis that I was poor and couldn't afford, and then ended up dropping the hobby for years, and now I'm back. And like I said earlier in tonight's stream, I need to dust off the Necrons and get them out for pictures, so people can see how I painted my minis, 15 some odd years ago. Plan on doing any other army after Black Templars, or plan on doing two at the same time? At the moment, it's just I just want to get the Templars finished. I do have some other minis that would be easier to turn into an army. My wife and I were watching another streamer doing, like, he'd gotten like 500 subscribers or something like that on Twitch, and he was doing a giveaway stream, and he was giving away a box of Chaos Knight War Dogs. It's like, so I could do a Chaos Knight army. I know, heresy. And I'm also trying to convince the missus to start a Sisters army, just because I want to steal some of her minis from time to time if she does a Sisters army to use as a detachment with my Templars. Because just think of it on the tabletop. How cool would it be to have, a Brutalis Dreadnought running across the table with a squad of Sisters Repentia running around its feet? That would be so cool. I don't know how that would work lore-wise, but it sounds cool in my head. And supposedly Games Workshop said everything is canon, so it is what it is. So I have some thoughts and I have some options. And Warhammer, Righteous Fury to the max. Exactly. I do also, if I can reach this thing over here, I do also paint other minis. This is one from for D&D that I painted a few years ago. So I paint minis off and on from time to time. Always have. And you can have two different armies on the same side at the same time. Yeah, I don't know if you can do two full armies. And I think you're only allowed to have a certain number of the other faction as a detachment. I'm not entirely sure how all those rules work, but I know it's a thing. And like I said, I think Templars with Sisters would look really cool on the battlefield. But that's just me. All right. So we got the first edge highlight done. And I need to remember to put my paints back where they belong, so I'm not looking all over my desk constantly, like, where'd I put that paint pot at? Oh yeah, there it is. So we're going to do our second edge highlight with some Dawnstone, which is a little bit lighter gray. So yeah, like 5 Templars and 5 Sisters on the battle, but they need to be separated. I mean, I know, like, you can't have, like, the Templar units leading, like, you couldn't have Grimaldus leading the Sisters Repentia. I know that much. But, I said, that's something I will look into. Exactly how detachments work. But, I mean, it sounds cool. I mean, have, a unit of Brutalis Dreadnoughts running up alongside a group of Penitent Engines. with some sword brothers and some sisters Repentia mixed in at their feet. Be so cool. But I do not want to paint a pennant engine. Oh my god, those models are so detailed. Not that this dreadnought isn't. But yeah. Like, I have my little crazy ideas of things that I think would be cool. But don't fully know what the lore implications would be, or if it would be allowed, or how the rules would actually work for it. It's just fun stuff to think about. For Righteous Crusades or Wrathful Procession, I don't know because I haven't played them. This is the first army that I've put together and painted in like 15 years. I don't have enough to get them on the tabletop to understand how the rules work for them yet. But when I find out that information at some point in the future, I will be sure to share my thoughts and opinions on them. But like I said, I have no idea because I haven't played the tabletop with these guys yet. It will happen sometime, I promise you. I just don't know when, because I have to finish painting 2,000 points of Templars, and I've gotten a Crusader squad done since October. Oh, and an Impulsor. So I have a ways to go. But I've been having an absolute blast painting minis again. Except for edge highlighting. Edge highlighting is a massive pain in the butt. But it makes your minis look so good when you're done. And I know I don't have to go through all this hassle of doing this. I just want, my army to look really cool when I finally get it on the tabletop. So I will torture myself through this process to have cool looking minis on the tabletop as I fling stuff all over my desk. And yes, I'm one of those weird people that paint every little detail, even though I know when I glue this piece on, you're not even going to be able to see it. Like half of what I did on it. But like I said, I just have way too much fun painting these things, and when they start coming together and you get to see like all the pieces start going on the mini and how everything looks when it's assembled, that's the payoff. That's what makes the frustration of using a paintbrush that has like 3 hairs on it to get in to paint all the details. But yeah, this is a very time-consuming, very fun hobby. And even when you actually get to the point where you get to start playing with them, games can last hours, turns can last hours, especially when you don't know what you're doing. Like, okay, how am I supposed to move my guys? How can I move them? What do I roll to hit? How do wounds work? What's a psyker? Oh yeah, they're evil. Destroy the witch. Abhor the witch. Yeah, painting the minis is one of my favorite parts of the hobby. And since I started painting again in October, I've noticed my improvement as time goes on. Like, my edge highlights are getting so much better, and it's all because it takes practice learning how to thin your paints properly, and it doesn't take that long. I was following another mini painter that just got into the hobby not that long ago, a few weeks ago, and between the first mini he posted and the things that he learned talking to the community on TikTok and Instagram and Twitch and watching videos on YouTube, like, he has improved so much. It's so cool to see. Like, that very first model gloopy paint job to his colors are starting to tighten up. He's starting to get the details a lot better. It's so cool to watch it come together for somebody that's just getting started in the hobby. From that standpoint, and then, somebody that's taking a break from the hobby and coming back. Does my army consist of so far? So far, my completed minis are a Crusader squad and a Impulsor. I do have this Brutalis that I'm working on. I have a squad of Sword Brethren that's still in the box. I have High Marshal Helbrecht that's still in the box, and Emperor's Champion and Chaplain Grimaldus are all the minis that I picked up so far. Whether or not I'm actually going to use them, because I have a combat patrol, so I still have intercessors and a marshal to paint, so I have quite a few models overall. I just don't know how they'll all work together or which ones are going to be the best ones to actually use, but I just think that the minis look cool. So yeah, one Crusader squad, one Impulsor, a squad of 5 intercessors, a Marshal, High Marshal Helbrecht, Grimaldus, the Brutalis Dreadnought, and an Emperor's Champion. So those are my options to choose from so far. I do need to get another combat patrol because I need the Impulsor and the other Crusader squad out of it. I know I should get a Land Raider Crusader. That's what everybody tells me. But when I do actually get to play, I do intend on running the 20-man blob with Grimaldus. Emperor's Champion will have his own unit of Sword Brethren. Helbrecht will have his own unit of Sword Brethren. 2 Brutalis Dreads, 2 Impulsors, and then I have to figure out what I'm going to fill in the rest of the 2,000 points with after that. I know Templars are getting a new release at some point. I'm hoping it's going to be like some sort of Terminator Sword Brethren or something like that, because I hate the Terminator helmets. I know I could get, special 3D printed ones, but the way the helmets look on Terminator armor, if they're equipped with power claws, Terminators with power claws look like space moles. I mean, that's just what they look like to me. It's like, oh, I'm gonna go dig through the ground underneath the battlefield and pop up and poke you with my claws. So not a fan of Terminator armor in that instance. And now I have to remember how these things go on here. I think it's this way. Yes. Okay. So that's how those pieces will go on. I don't think I'm going to glue these ones on yet. But definitely making my way up the leg. Actually, I probably will go ahead and glue those on, because the next piece goes on the side of the legs. If I can get this thing to kind of hold in place momentarily, which I can't. I like subassembly because you get to add pieces as you go, but at the same time, subassembly is very frustrating when you're trying to show what you're intending to do. Doing all right, making some good progress on the legs of the dreadnought, but yeah, so eventually when I get this stupid thing painted and it'll get stuck on his leg over here. But yeah, I'm probably gonna, I'm gonna paint that and glue it on first and then glue the top piece of armor on, instead of just going ahead and gluing these on. Just got the edge highlights done around these pieces of armor that go over the top of the hip, as you can see as one falls off in my hand. But I will set these off to the side temporarily. Yeah, I'm very happy with how this thing's coming out. Yeah, I am not upset with my first dreadnought experience. Okay, this side first, because I got to black out the backside. Set the legs back over here so we don't accidentally drop something on them. And backside. And let me find my brush again. The claw, it's going to have the two claw arms. It is going to be running around the battlefield offering free tickles to any takers. So, claws all the way. But yeah, definitely doing the claws. I think they look cooler. They fit thematically with the Templar army as being a melee heavy army. What better melee than giant claws on a Brutalis dreadnought? So that's how we're doing those. If we ever get to that point, we got to finish the legs first, and then I still have the whole sarcophagus section to paint. This guy is taking a long time, but I am enjoying every minute of it. So it is a fun project, even though it's probably the most complex model I've done so far. Yeah, vehicles are time consuming, most definitely. But I did get a much wider brush for the bigger armor panels as I try and throw it on the floor beside me. Because trying to paint an entire vehicle with a brush this size doesn't work very well. I learned that on my impulsor. So I definitely invested in a larger brush for the next vehicle I did, and that just happens to be this dreadnought. And I just dipped my brush in the wrong color of paint. We're using that tack on pill bottles. Yep, just balls of sticky tack on top of pill bottles. I mean, I've got, for the regular minis, I've got like the regular handles to hold them. I mean, choice of melee attack option is nice as well. Yeah, and I think the claws are twin linked, so you get to reroll or something on them, which makes it nice. And plus they have like the heavy stubber up top, and I've got the Meltas as my kind of medium short ranged, do lots of damage option. I'm pretty sure they have blast. So shooting them into big enough units also does extra things as well. Once again, I paint something that no one will ever see because it's literally sealed shut with glue. Yeah, sticky tack is amazing for sub-assembly projects. So sticky tack and bits of sprue, like if you need something extra to hold on to while you're painting a helmet or a face. That's kind of hard to see. Let's see if I can... Nope, didn't work on that camera either. But anyway, like when doing heads and helmets and faces and stuff, I just use an extra piece of sprue so I can hold on to it and then paint all the little tiny details. That way, Post one in general chat. Love what the guys did with claws and that. I will have to check that out. Let me see here. Can I do this? Oh, my Discord's so far away. Okay, Discord. And bring my Discord over here. He gave them a glow effect. Oh, I can only do it on TikTok. I can't show it on Twitch. Darn it. Yeah. Actually, I'm going to bring it over so I can see it real quick. How did that happen? No! I'm messing up my screens. You get out of my face. You come here. And the general chat. Yeah, I'm looks like you did some object source lighting on the inside of the claws. Which, yes, that's really cool. I am going to try and do like a lightning effect on the claws, similar to how I did like this power sword. This is one of my test runs on a power sword. Do I know how to share? And that's a power axe I did. So I'm going to try and do the claws similar to the blades on that. Kind of what... I'll show you this edit I'm working on. If you go over to Twitch, it's same username on Twitch, Dune_Gunner, I have a permanent link to my Discord, and anything you want to share with me over there, there's pages for work in progress, for minis, finished minis, other projects. There is a Discord link for folks to share stuff like that. So if you want to check that out, it is available to anybody watching, anybody who wants to go over there. If you want to follow me on Twitch, you'll get notified when I go live. If you follow me on TikTok, you get notified when I go live. If you join my Discord, thank you, Ronald the Clown, for the follow on Twitch. Very much appreciate it. Try lowering my background music. Where's the Discord link? in my About tab on the Twitch page. There should be like an About tab, and where it says Discord is actually a link that will take you to the Discord server. And it is a permanent link for anyone to use. Doesn't really say, it's a Discord link, but just click on the tab that says Discord and it will take you to the Discord. See if I can find my Discord again. Where did I put my Discord? Okay, close that. Remember? Nope. The welcome tab. Man guy. I don't know if that's somebody watching currently, but Man Guy has joined on the Discord. And I'm sorry, I'm still seriously new to a lot of this stuff. So if I'm a little dysfunctional on Discord or can't do things right, that's why. There's a lot that I still have to figure out, that I'm still learning on all of this with streaming and the Discord. You can thank Complicated Gaming for the Discord. I think he's the one who kept asking, hey, do you got a Discord? You got a Discord? I want to show you my stuff. You got a Discord? And I appreciate it, every bit of it. It's been really neat to see other people's stuff that gets shared on Discord. I do not deny that at all. And one of these days I will get it figured out how to switch scenes on. I know how to switch scenes on Twitch and YouTube with OBS, but TikTok's it's the newest platform I've started working on or streaming on. So I have a lot to learn there. I have a lot to learn with the Discord server, getting everything figured out over there. But it's all been a lot of fun figuring this stuff out. Let me see. In the general chat, I think it looks good. That's me, Bill. Anyway, Man Guy is Bill. Grand Admiral Bill, thank you for coming in. And like I said, any minis and art, I consider everything art. If you're making music, if you're making videos. So in the other projects, music, videos, drawings, artwork, paintings, whatever goes in there. And then we've got a couple of dedicated mini channels to either what you're working on or what you finished. It's all over there in the Discord. So anything that you want to drop over there, as long as it, follows whatever Discord's arbitrary size limits are, you can share it there if Discord allows it. But I appreciate all the follows everywhere and all the new viewership. And, hopefully you share some stuff and we can talk about it on a future stream. When I get everything figured out, how to actually share everything while I'm live. And, I always try and leave feedback, even if it's a simple, wow, that's really cool. I want everyone to feel welcome, and, I do check the Discord daily for anything that's been added, any new comments. I know it's very small because it's a brand new Discord. There's not a lot going on there yet, but you have to start somewhere. And we have started. Hi, honey.
Hi.
What is that?
All your chains.
Huh?
All your chains.
Oh. My Dreadnought accessories that I forgot that I bought.
Really?
Yes.
What
I would have remembered after I got done painting it. And like, oh, I got all these like really cool chain things. Pardon the bag rattling. But see, I've got like little dangly chain bit type things that will be added to the Dreadnought. I got various different sizes and chains and stuff. Because they were on sale and I can use them for minis because I'm a dork. So once we get everything painted up, I'll figure out where I want some cool looking chains to be, and if I have to paint them, I paint them. Posted your edit or well some. Here's some. Okay. Let me see. It doesn't have anything obscene in it, does it? Not can start like screaming the N-word if I start listening to it. Nah. Alright, so let's pause our music temporarily. And if I go up to scenes, see, is it this one? Well, that definitely brings up my desktop. So you can see what's going on my desktop. Where did my Discord go? Here's the Discord. Let's bring that up and... Oh, hello there. Looking good so far? Bring the TikTok back up and... Is it this one? Nope. Wide camera. That one. All right, we're back over here. See, I can do that on TikTok. Currently just some. Yeah, anytime you want to share something like that on the Discord, feel free. I take little clips and edit them. I mean, mostly it's just pictures of my minis, but I make stuff like that to post clips on TikTok. And I mean, it's one of those things, you start on your little projects, you do them, you get them done, and you share them, and you see how people react to them, respond to them, and if people like them, they'll come back and see more of what you do. If people are kind of iffy about it, sometimes they'll leave feedback. Sometimes it's not always the nicest thing that you want to hear, but it gives you some direction to go in. And TikTok and CapCut are great resources for somebody just getting started that's never done any type of like serious editing before, and like gives you that taste, gives you that little nudge in the right direction, and gives you that feedback to start making bigger and better things. So I mean, you're not going to make some masterpiece overnight your first attempt, but that's just something that you can take a look and see what kind of feedback you get and keep working from there. I mean, that's where I started out. I had, horrible audio quality. I couldn't get my music to work. I had a really bad webcam to start off with, and it's just over time I've improved those settings and just gotten better. And am I like in the most amazing place now? No, but it's better than when I started. Just working your way through all those little baby steps and learning curves. And, eventually you'll put out something that people think is just amazing and they want to see more of it. And, that's kind of where I ended up with painting minis. Got milestones. Yep. Should be asleep. Yeah, I'm getting to that point too. I should probably, I'm going to go until around 10 o'clock tonight. So I still got a little over half an hour my time before I got to wrap it up. But yes, I need to get some sleep. I'm actually training a new person at work. So being a zombie at work when you're trying to train a new employee isn't the best thing in the world. But he's catching on pretty quick. And it's not like we have, a job that requires a degree in rocket science. But he's getting there. All right. Do a little bit more on the edges and back here, even though no one will ever see this. I'm weird. I paint everything. And yeah, it's like I went from streaming video games to I did a live stream painting some minis one night and got rated. People told me that I was doing a good job on my minis, and it was kind of that nudge into, well, maybe this is what I should be doing instead of mediocre gameplay that you can watch on any other channel. I know you can watch, folks paint minis on so many other channels, but, I don't know. Something just kind of clicked for me, and, I assume people like watching me paint little pieces of plastic. I get a lot more viewership doing this than I ever did streaming video games. So this is kind of just where I ended up, because my hobby ADD just jumps from place to place, and this is just what currently fell into place for me, and I continue to enjoy it. So you don't even have to get it right the first time. Just keep experimenting with different things, and eventually you'll land on something that you enjoy doing and folks enjoy watching, and you just continue to move up from there. All right, need to adjust my sticky tack again so I can get this stupid thing to stick on it right way up now. And again with the other side. But yeah, sticky tack on pill bottles for painting minis. If you're doing sub-assemblies, awesome. Definitely recommend. 10 out of 10. So if you're interested in trying something new to get minis painted, this is always an option. Like I said, I prefer sub-assembly to just throwing the thing together, because you can get in a lot more of the little tiny details for everything. I just think it makes your projects look better in the long run. But if you're just, rushing to get it on the table and start playing the game, there's nothing wrong with that. Spray paint on your base color, do some edge highlights and some, other colors as you need, and go from there. And just get like 3 colors on there. I mean, I'm 100% against the people that are like, oh, three color minimum. Okay, I spray painted it one color and then put a dot of this color and a dot of that color. It's tabletop ready. No, it's not painted. It's not ready. Put just a little bit more effort into your paint projects. Experiment with stuff while you're painting too. I've never painted a dreadnought before or put one together, and it's just like I've picked up little things on all the other minis that I've done as part of this army, and I add them to my little bag of skill and goodies, and just try something a little bit different the next time. Like those power swords. Never done a power sword before. I've got 2 power swords and a power axe on my desk that I just wanted to experiment with, and I'm happy with the results. So eventually, when I have to paint one for a mini, I have a basic idea of what I'm going to do, and the first one that I'm going to do is going to be, for power weapon, is the claws on this dreadnought. I'm definitely going to have to get out the old man glasses when I start painting the details on this. Welcome in, Natalie. Thanks for stopping by. Just sitting here rambling to the ether. I do have some folks watching on different platforms. They comment every once in a while. But we just keep working our way around, make sure we get a good base coat of color on here. I got the paint a little thin, so having to do a couple extra layers to get good coverage on this. Or maybe my eyes are just getting tired and I don't see that it's, completely painted and I don't have to do anymore. I already read that. I already resolved that problem. I look at my other chat and I'm like, oh, new message. Nope, that's not a new message. I am trying to get most of the metal bits on the book painted black because I like the way the black looks underneath the metallics. It finishes it for me. I just think it makes it look a little bit nicer. And of course, this thing's going to get doused with a healthy dose of Nuln Oil to bring out extra details here and there. But I do need to make sure I get all the little gray gaps underneath the back of the book covered up. So really get in there and destroy the tip of your brush. But that should work. All right, so we've got some Crusader seals on this one. Added some more. All right, I will and post it in the DC Discord. Yep. I will check that out later. Running out of painting time. I would like to get this one close to being done. I know I've got a long ways to go on this hip plate. So I will check that out later. I will leave you some feedback on the Discord. But I do need to get a little bit more painting done, and then hopefully Thursday night I can get the other one finished up. And then we'll have, a completed set of legs. And then I have to decide whether I want to start on the arms or the sarcophagus. Decisions. But from here, we're going to get out our Balthazar Gold. I use the airbrush version for some of my metallics that I use in larger quantities. Like Balthazar Gold and Lead Belcher are the two most commonly used metallics that I go through for these minis. And because I don't use a whole lot, the air version of these paints is already thinned down a lot, so it makes it go on a lot smoother. So let me get the old man glasses on. And then I will paint straight out of the pot on these. For the little bits and bobs that I need this kind of bronze color. I know it says it's Balthazar Gold, but it's a very cool bronze color that I like. I use it on all the chest seals of my initiates and the normal Space Marine Templar models. I just really like the way it looks. Like I said, I'm going to try and paint a little bit quicker on this part, just so you guys can see what I'm talking about when I get closer to like a finished result on these. I have to flip this over a little bit. I know I don't need to be as detailed on the back, but that's just how I am. But get those little gold bits done. YMCA. La 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 la. Young man, there's a place you can go. I said, young man, when you're low and you're low. Song is so old and has been played so many times. One of those things that gets stuck in your head. Like every school dance or pep rally or anything like that from years and years ago. The old YMCA. by the village people. If I was really big into like song trivia, I'd be able to tell you so much more. Like when it was released, what it charted at. Favorite song? Yeah. I don't know if it's my favorite song, but it's a fun song. Definitely a fun song. For being silly. Okay, so we've got the little bits at the end. Sorry, they're kind of hard to see. And then very carefully on this handle piece up here, which, all right, Grand Admiral Bill, have a good night. Thanks for stopping in. Glad I could give you some tips and tricks on your creativity journey. Just remember, do what you enjoy. I mean, if you like the content that you're putting out and it, does right for you, keep doing it. You'll have some hits, you'll have some misses. That's just the way it works. But thanks for stopping by. Have a good night. Teeny tiny details. So many. On the mini. TikTok. Chat is also a little frustrating because it bounces up and down constantly. So I'm like, am I missing a message? Oh, no. It's just moving. For no apparent reason. I got a little frustrated when I was gluing this on, like the little loop at the top of the Crusade seal actually melted in half when I was gluing it on because I was using plastic cement. But it still turned out all right. I think it'll be fine. All right. Then there's a little rivet right there that I'm going to paint over. I just know how I paint. So that's it for that part of it for a moment. I have to swap my brushes out. Get out the old corn red. As we are working on this Crusader seal. Don't need a whole lot. But we'll dip out some extra just in case. Thin that down a little bit. Wipe off some of the extra. Dip back in. And start getting that Crusader seal. Trying to get a good saturated coat on there of this. really get that red to pop out over the black. And we'll do some edge highlighting and brighten it up a little bit. Just curious, what's your favorite Warhammer 40k faction and Space Marine chapter? I don't play them. I would probably have to say orcs are my favorite faction just because of how ridiculous they are. My favorite Space Marine chapter at the moment, obviously, is Black Templars. They amuse me, and not because of... Oh, thank you for the follow, Berserk Empire. Appreciate it. Favorite faction simply because they have some of the best looking models available right now. They just look really cool. They do have some interesting lore. Sigismund was a badass. Grimaldus is a badass. Just lots of cool characters for the Templars. I will have to say that. You agree? Well, I appreciate that you agree. Thank you for the likes. There's been a few times, I say, well, I like the Black Templars, and people are like, well, they're bad people. And that's so ridiculous. So ridiculous. It's, fantasy, grimdark future weirdness. Everybody hates everybody, it's all war. Everybody's fighting all the time. That's just how it is. That's 40k. Nobody has time to be nice. Everyone's just trying to survive. Don't put anything extra into it other than what is explicitly stated in in the far future. There's only war. That's really all that matters for the 40k universe. It is just constant fighting and war. No more, no less. Although I do also like the Necrons. I used to play the Necrons many years ago. Trazen the Infinite is one of the most hilarious characters that I've ever heard of. That he's like this, immortal techno skeleton that is also a massive kleptomaniac. He just like flies around the galaxy stealing stuff from everybody because he believes he can take care of it better than anybody else. I just find way too amusing. Like, you are not competent enough to keep this. I will take it because it is important. Okay, dude. Trazen is a fun character. But I do need to spend some more time delving a little bit deeper into the lore, so just to have a better understanding of everything. Because, like I said, I got out of the hobby, 15 years ago, just getting back into it last October, painting minis again. So I'm sure there's a lot of stuff that happened between 5th edition and 10th edition. I mean, obviously there's 5 editions difference other than rule changes. Favorite is Chaos Space Marine chapters, Death Guard, World Eaters. I think some of the lore behind Thousand Suns is kind of cool, but I haven't spent a lot of time looking into Chaos factions, So I really don't have a lot of room to talk on that. But at some point, I will do like deeper dives into a lot more of the lore stuff. Just right now, unfortunately, I don't have a lot of extra time to devote to that, which is very frustrating. Because I'm, one of those folks at work that, because I'm good at my job, they want me to teach other people how to do my job. So I'm currently training a new hire. So I don't have as much free time as I'd like to just play with random ridiculousness, watching lore videos. Like I normally, well, I don't watch them, I listen to them because of my job. I drive a truck, I can't really watch a video while I'm driving. But I do enjoy listening, particularly to Voldemort. That is Agrexer Shade, not Null Oil. I do not want that. I'm just hopping back and forth between this paint and that paint. Trying to get one more chunk of armor done on this dreadnought before I have to call it a night. Blubber null oil in here. Kind of letting it pool up in a couple places to bring out some of the details. Don't let it get too crazy in there. Have a good night. Hope you can enjoy Rohan Farmer K as much as the rest. I do. I enjoy the books. I enjoy the video games. I enjoy painting the minis. As long as people don't get, super obsessed and be like, want to correct me on every little thing that I say, it is what it is. I enjoy the hobby in my way, as I hope everyone else enjoys the hobby in their way. But thank you for stopping by. Thank you for the likes and everything else. I don't remember if you followed or not. My brain's not working anymore. I've been live for a couple hours. But again, thank you for stopping by. Hope you have a good night. Alright, just a little bit more work on this Crusader seal, and then we can do our edge highlights on the armor plate. And try and give everybody a closer look at what's going on there. I think that's looking pretty good. And so we're going to grab our Evil Sun Scarlet as I punch the crap out of my microphone. So sorry for that loud thump. And grab just a little bit because we're just doing a tiny amount of edge highlighting on this Crusader seal. Yep. I know it's getting towards the end of the night when I start getting tired and stuffy. Some of the excess paint off the brush. Kind of grabbing these edges of the seals. We'll highlight some lines across them as well. See, like little ripples and wrinkles in the material. I say it's these, extra little, just teeny tiny things that, make so much difference on your Mini. Because it's so frustrating when I can't get it to focus right. And it's so hard trying to get it so the vertical camera can see it. I will post, some updated pictures of the legs, but the Crusader seal is looking very nice, in my opinion. And then with that, I'll grab a little bit of Corax white. So we can add our sacred text to our Crusader seal. Just a little bit onto the palette. Thin your paints. And for this, you're going to want just a tiny little amount, just right at the tip. We add our litanies of victory or whatever we think is actually on our Crusade seal. So now it looks like it's got some writing on it. Make sure we rinse out our brush really good. And then, over our Balthazar gold, we'll take a tiny amount of Sycorax bronze for some edge highlights. And that is a very separated paint. Need to shake this very good. Okay, now the Sycorax bronze is a much brighter color. Hey T-Rev, how's it going? Or T-Rev. You catch me like right at the end of my stream. I'm about to call it a night, but I'm trying to get this Crusader seal finished up. I'll put my slide the old man glasses up so I can actually see what I'm doing. We're just trying to grab a couple of parts That's a oh man. Okay, no worries. Hope you're doing good. Yeah, I'm doing real well. I got the lower armor plates for the front of the legs done earlier tonight. So those are on there, and the little piece that wraps around the top of the hip joints, I got done. I'm not gluing them on until I get the two little side pieces for the hips done. Just trying to get a little extra shiny on this Crusade seal. Thank you, sir. I appreciate the vote of confidence in my abilities. I will post some updated progress pictures after the stream tonight, as I always tend to do. But there we are. I need better lighting so you can actually see what that looks like. But there's a Crusade seal for the hip of the Dreadnought that's on there. I just jerk my lights around my desk. But so there's a Crusade seal on that one. He's got a book from the extra bits and bobs on the other one that I'm going to paint Thursday. Hopefully we'll be back on Thursday night. But I just got to get the edge highlighting done on this panel, get the book done and the edge highlighting on that panel, and we will go from there. But that is for our next stream. And pardon the rustling bag. Our local Joann's, just like everyone else's, is closing, but I thought my Dreadnought needed some extra chains, so I picked up some jewelry stuff. So we'll be separating these from the jewelry pieces and wrapping our Dreadnought in some extra chains for extra Black Templar bling. But I think that's where we're gonna wrap it up for the night. I said I will take some new updated work pictures. I will make a TikTok out of them, and I will get all that posted. Let's see, on TikTok, and I'll do a YouTube short. It is the same username on every platform, Dune_Gunner, on Twitch, on YouTube, on TikTok. That's where you can find me. If you go over to my Twitch page, there is a permanent link to my Discord. You're more than welcome to come over there, join in, share whatever projects you're working on. I hope to see you guys there. Had a great time painting tonight. Thank you everyone for stopping in, and we will definitely see you Thursday night, assuming everything goes according to plan. But until then, everyone have a good night.